Hello, dear students. So, today we are going to understand one of the most important and scoring topic in GST, composition levy scheme. So, before starting, just imagine a small trader running a shop in the market. He earns well, but cannot handle big registers, detailed GST calculation, monthly returns. So for such trader, government has given a very simple solution, that is composition scheme. And trust me, once we all understand this concept, it will be very helpful for small traders. So it is a simplified taxation method designed to ease the burden on small businesses. So keep in mind this word, small businesses, by offering lower tax rates. So on small businesses, there are lower tax rates and reduced compliance requirement. Compliance मतलब rules regulations बेटा उनको कम follow करने पड़ेंगे as compared to normal under normal GST. So composition scheme is like a shortcut under GST. So instead of paying at a regular GST rate 5%, 12%, 18% जो normal GST में है, a trader pays a very small fixed percentage of his turnover under the composition scheme. So think of regular GST like writing a long research paper full of references, details. हमें बहुत सारी formalities पूरी करनी पड़ती हैं. But under composition scheme, it's like writing a short essay. Simple, straight and stress free. मतलब काम वही करना है but regulations कम follow करनी है. ठीक है, less formalities are there, so less compliance requirements are there under the composition scheme. So there are some eligibility criteria which are to be satisfied. So not every trader can use this scheme. So the eligibility criteria must be fulfilled under this. First one is turnover limit. So a trader whose turnover is up to 1.5 crores or 75 lakh in northeastern states can only apply for this scheme. Type of business. So traders, manufacturers, restaurants who are not serving alcohol are only eligible to opt for this scheme. Service providers, small service providers can also apply if their turnover is up to rupees 50 lakh and the rate applicable to them is 6%. Then sales restriction, only those traders who are doing intrastate sales. Intrastate means within the state are only allowed to opt for this scheme. So it means interstate sales are not permitted under this scheme. So e-commerce exclusions means traders who are selling through e-commerce platforms like Amazon, Flipkart are not eligible for this scheme. So beta, basically this scheme is designed only for small and local businesses. So now the question arises, who cannot choose composition scheme? So following are the individuals, the businesses who are not eligible for GST composition scheme. These are manufacturers of ice cream, pan masala, tobacco, businesses making interstate supplies or selling exempted goods or services, casual taxable persons or non-resident taxable persons, businesses supplying services through e-commerce platforms, they must and who are collecting TCS, that is tax collected at source, under section 52 of CGST Act, or the manufacturers or the suppliers of goods or services as notified by government based on GST Council recommendation. तो टाइम टू टाइम अगर गवर्नमेंट किसी स्पेसिफिक नोटिफिकेशन के थ्रू किसी स्पेसिफिक मैन्युफैक्चरर को या सप्लायर को रिस्ट्रिक्ट कर देती है that they cannot opt for this scheme, they cannot opt for this scheme. So in short, we can say that for simple businesses, this scheme is only recommended. So it is for simple businesses and not for those operating at a very large scale or in special industries. They cannot opt for this scheme. So now there are some conditions for choosing this scheme. So conditions that need to follow when choosing this GST composition scheme are the person, the trader, businessman cannot claim ITC, He cannot sell goods not which are not taxed under GST like alcohol. He must pay regular tax rates for reverse charge mechanism transaction, means that if he is under RCM, he cannot opt for this scheme. All businesses under the same PAN must register or not use the scheme means अगर हमारे एक से ज्यादा businesses हैं but under the same PAN और सबकी इकट्ठी मिलाकर टर्नओवर को देखा जाएगा, if फॉर रिगार्डिंग एनी अगर हमने सेपरेट रजिस्ट्रेशन करवाई है उस केस में इफ वन इज अंडर कॉम्पोजिशन स्कीम ऑल द बिजनेसेस विल कम अंडर द कॉम्पोजिशन स्कीम. द टैक्स पेयर must write composition taxable person clearly on all invoices or notice boards and all signboards at his business place. They must also add composition taxable person on every bill of supply they issue. So notice this word bill of supply. They cannot issue invoice, but instead they have to issue bill of supply. So from February 1, 2019, manufacturers and traders can also offer services up to 10% of their turnover or rupees 5 lakh, whichever is more. So we can say that the traders and manufacturers can also provide services up to 10% of their turnover or 5 lakh, whichever is higher. Now, here's the most interesting part, that is the rates are very low. That is 1% of turnover, that is applicable on traders and manufacturers. 5% of turnover applicable on restaurants, but keep in mind the restaurant should not be serving alcohol. Then 6% applicable on small service providers. So let us have a small example. If a trader earns 50 lakh in sales, GST payable is just 50,000. Simple, predictable, and no matters what goods are sold. Just on turnover, he has to pay a specified percentage as GST. Now come the key features of composition levy scheme. First is eligibility based on turnover. Only small traders up to 1.5 crore can apply. Restricted to intra-state sales means the person or the trader who is selling in interstate, who is supplying the goods interstate, they cannot opt for this scheme. So it is only applicable for the traders who are doing intra-state trade. Then is exclusions, means not for it is not applicable for tobacco business, ice cream suppliers, or e-commerce sellers. Fixed rate of tax is there, that is 1%, 5%, or 6% depending upon the business. No collection of GST is there. GST, the person who has opted for composition levy scheme, so that they cannot charge GST from their customers separately. Here, no ITC is allowed. Under GST, whenever GST is paid on purchases, it becomes the cost. There is a simplified compliance. Only quarterly return in GSTR 4 and one annual return in GSTR 9A is to be filled. Display the requirements. Display requirements are there that on every business place or whether it is a principal place or subsidiary place, the word composition taxable person is to be displayed. This scheme is voluntary in nature, means trader may choose it और stay in the regular GST. ये traders पे depend करता है कि वो regular में रहना चाहते हैं और they want to move on to the this scheme. Then this is beneficial only for those who are having limited growth potential. Means once turnover crosses 1.5 crores, the trader has to shift to the regular GST. Now comes the advantages of composition scheme. First advantage is less paperwork. Obviously, because quarterly returns are to be filed, no monthly returns are required, so paperwork will automatically reduce. Lower tax rates are there, that is 1%, 5%, 6%, as against under regular GST, which was 5, 12, 18, 28, etc. There is a peace of mind. Now the person can easily focus on his business only. अब उसके ऊपर कोई बर्डन नहीं है कि मुझे हर मंथ रिटर्न्स फाइल करनी है. अगर स्कीम के अंडर आ गया तो वो इजीली अपने बिजनेस पे फुल कंसंट्रेट करके अपने बिजनेस को ग्रो कर सकता है. एंड इट इज वेरी मच सुटेबल फॉर द स्मॉल ट्रेडर्स. That is best for kirana stores, local restaurants, small manufacturers. So as every coin is having two sides, so along with advantages, there are some disadvantages. First is no ITC. Those who are opting for this scheme, they cannot claim the benefit of ITC. So purchases become costlier. Limited growth opportunities are there because if you have opted for this scheme, you cannot make interstate supplies. You cannot supply your goods through e-commerce traders. It is not for suitable for the expanding business because once your turnover crosses a specified limit, you have to move on to regular GST. So then last one is invoices look non-GST compliant. Means some customers may prefer big suppliers with GST invoice. ठीक है, तो ये एक डीमेरिट कुछ demerits हो सकते हैं if we are going for this scheme. Now the whole concept can be explained with a practical example of Mr. Raj, who is a trader in Punjab. He is having a turnover of 80 lakh in the financial year 24-25. तो उसकी टैक्स पेमेंट कितनी होगी? He pays only 80,000, that is 1% of turnover as GS as against GST, regular GST. उसको अब प्रोडक्ट वाइज अलग अलग गुड्स के अकॉर्डिंग उसको जीएसटी कैलकुलेट नहीं करना पड़ेगा. रिटर्न फाइलिंग बिकम इजियर. सो ही हैज टू फाइल क्वार्टरली रिटर्न. तो उसका टाइम, अकाउंटिंग कॉस्ट सब सेव हो जाती है. देन बिजनेस रिस्ट्रिक्शंस, बट उसके लिए एक रिस्ट्रिक्शन हो जाएगी कि वो अगर उसका वो इंटरस्टेट सप्लाईज करना चाहता है वो ऐसा काम नहीं कर सकता, वो सिर्फ लोकल मार्केट तक ही लिमिट रह जाएगा. देन इनवॉइसिंग, he cannot make invoices but he have to supply bill of supply. So it can be a negative point for him only. So if Mr. Raj falls under regular GST, he would have to file monthly return, calculate item-wise GST, issue detailed invoices. So clearly we can say that composition scheme saves his time, efforts, and cost. So now he is much happier if he has opted for this scheme. So, dear students, the composition levy scheme is like the helping hand for small traders. It reduces their stress, saves their time, and allows them to focus on their business. So, it is some key words are there that it is best suited for local traders with a turnover under 1.5 crores, small restaurants not serving alcohol, small manufacturers with simple supply chain, business prioritizing simplicity over ITC benefit, then the traders with primarily B2C customers. So it is much suited for these type of traders. But it is not recommended for businesses with significant interstate operations because they will not become eligible. E-commerce sellers, businesses with high input costs who require ITC in return. So companies with growth plans exceeding the threshold. ठीक है, लिमिट से ज्यादा हो जाएगा तो ये वो स्कीम ऑप्ट ही नहीं कर पाएंगे. एंड B2B suppliers whose client need GST invoices. So better remember in simple words that composition scheme is for simplicity but not for expansion. So thank you students.